Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, kicking off a 50-cent, $400,000 guaranteed pick four pool at Monmouth Park on Saturday, beginning with race number 9. Let's throw up the field for the Grade 3 Matchmaker Stakes. $150,000 is the purse. We are expecting a field of 7. Zenobia is running at Saratoga on Friday after we tape this race. Chad Brown will have 3, Mike. What a surprise.
Yeah, it's not just in New York, I guess, where he is loaded in these turf stakes races. He's got 3 in here, and they're all 3 of them pretty good, Dan. I think any one of them could win.
Let's throw up the Timeform US Pace Projector. I want to remind everybody to head on over to timeformus.com once scratches are officially announced. This Pace Projector will update. You see the horse in second in the Pace Projector is Zenobia. If she scratches, I doubt she'll run back on 0 days rest. That gives Valedictorian, the number 1, an even bigger tactical advantage. And if there's one thing you can say about Valedictorian, she loves Monmouth.
She does love Monmouth, and she also really likes getting out on the lead all by herself, and she may be able to do that in this spot, Dan. If she could get that kind of an easy lead and nobody presses her, she's a dangerous horse in here.
I think there is a concern, though, about her recent form, Mike. She was in very good form when she won the Grade 3 Eatontown here last year. But this year, it's sort of been in and out. A couple of good efforts, a couple of not so good efforts. Last time out in the Just a Game, she was completely overmatched. The time before that on dirt, throw it out. I don't know. I thought her Sand Springs was okay. I guess she was facing maybe slightly better.
Yeah, that was, I mean, I guess if you want to give her an excuse for the Sand Springs, that was a pretty solid field for a listed stakes race. Her first race off the layoff in the Honey Fox was not good, but she didn't make the lead that day, so that's an excuse, I guess. I agree with you. Her recent form's not good, but if she gets loose in here, I guess you got to respect her.
I know you're Feel Glorious's biggest fan, and they have her last on the Pace Projector. I think she's a little bit more tactical than that. I think that Nick Juarez can get her a bit close to the pace, especially if the pace is slow. She looked good. It looked like she was finally coming into her own towards the end of her 3-year-old campaign. And in her seasonal debut, Clement picked a tough spot. Going 1.25 miles off a 6.5-month layoff in a race where Mean Mary just basically had everything her own way.
Yeah, Feel Glorious didn't run poorly at all in that race, considering everything that was working against her. Yeah, I agree with you. I thought towards the end of her 3-year-old campaign, she was really getting good. I thought she was good at the start of it, but she was improving, it felt like, towards the end. She doesn't have a lot of speed. I understand that there's a chance she's pace and trip compromised in here. They do like to rate her early and make runs, but if she can just get herself into position in this race, I think she can go with these horses.
Although the 3 High Regard is still a turf maiden, she's only run twice on the surface. She was stakes placed in the Dueling Ground Oaks, going 10.5 furlongs last year as a 3-year-old filly. Didn't really fire in the Sand Springs at 59-1. She's going to need a lot of things, I believe, to go her way to pull off an upset here.
Yeah, I agree with that. This is not an easy spot for her to ship into, to run. You know, sometimes these races won't come up that strong. As it turns out, this one did come up really strong. And so she's going to have to take a huge step forward.
Varenka has a huge closing kick. It was on display at Saratoga last year when she went through her 1X, and then she kicked so hard in a race with no pace in the Lake Placid just to get up to dead heat. She was completely pace compromised in the QE too. She wasn't winning that day when Cambier Park was able to just walk on the lead. And then the Mint Julep, it was her first race off of a long layoff. I think you can give her that performance. We're getting to the point where we start to need to see faster races from Varenka, and I am concerned about the pace situation for her here, but she does have a very strong kick.
I agree with that. We'll see. I think you're dead on in saying that she does have to start showing some improvement. I think she has it in her. I guess we'll find out. This is only her second start as a 4-year-old. And I will say in the Mint Julep, which first of all was another really strong field, she almost looked to me like a horse who needed that race. She traveled pretty well around the turn. She got a look at that race, maybe down to about the 8th pole, and just didn't have a finishing kick in there. She flattened out pretty badly, but maybe she just needed the race.
Now let's talk about Chad horses. He has Beautiful Lover at 2-1 on the morning line. This horse is a stakes winner, graded stakes placed earlier this year, second to the razor sharp Starship Jubilee in the Hillsborough. Shipped her out to Southern California. I thought that was a good spot for her in the Gamely. And to be perfectly honest, I thought she was just a little flat and one-paced in the lane. She does have solid figs.
She does. I mean, I guess we'll see what happens, Dan. To me, it all comes down to how they bet the race. They made her 2-1 on the morning line. At that kind of a price, I think she's kind of a joke. I would never bet her at that kind of a price, but it feels like she could drift off that. So if you like her and you get the right price, I'm not going to argue. I just prefer other horses in here.
Nay Lady Nay, the number 6, also goes out for Brown. This horse won the Mrs. Revere for 3-year-olds towards the end of her 2019 campaign. Junior Alvarado gave her a great ride that day. Made all the right moves, followed all the right horses, split horses late, and got up over that yielding ground. I think that short comment's very uncharitable for her seasonal debut in the mid-julep. 4-path upper leveled off. I thought she was in kind of tight in mid-stretch, never really got clear to fire late. I think she's a lot better than that running line indicates, and I think Chad will have her much sharper second back.
Yeah, well, we look at her the same exact way. I think she did run a lot better than it may look in the mid-julep last time. And when you really go back and start, pulling apart her 3-year-old campaign, she was pretty good, Dan. The only time she got beat after her debut was when Sorrentina Lemon just got loose on a walking pace, and Nay Lady Nay couldn't run her down at the end. After that, she just continued to improve, became a graded stakes winner at the end. She's super dangerous in here.
I think of the 3 Chad horses, the horse that might pull the best trip on Saturday is the 7 Tampa Today, because she does have good tactical speed, and she might be in a great position sitting right off Valedictorian with first run on everybody. Let's watch her effort in the Swanee River. We talked about how Starship Jubilee's been hot. She was the big favorite in this race. Tampa Today is going to, split horses. She actually made the lead in this race. Pardon me, is Tampa Today. And you see going right by her is Starship Jubilee. All in all, Tampa Today right now is not of the level of Starship Jubilee, but Starship Jubilee is one of the top 10 filly and mares in the country.
Yeah, I mean, she ran fine in this race, all things considered, and it was a long layoff. I mean, that was just her second start back after missing, well over a year of racing prior to that long layoff. She actually looked she could be pretty good. So we'll see what happens in here. She's another horse. I'm a fan of hers. I think this is a race that she can win. And ultimately, Dan, it really is just going to come down to how this race gets bet. I have a real problem with the morning line of this race. I just don't think it's right. I want to see how they bet the race first and then see. But if Tapit Today's a good price, I'm definitely using this horse.
She is 2 for 2 at Monmouth. She runs well fresh for a trainer that has them ready fresh, and she might get the best trip of the 3 Chad horses. Let's go to our top selections for the Grade 3 Matchmaker Stakes. Mike, you are the president and founding member of both the Field Glorious and Varenka fan club. No surprise that you have them in the exacta.
Proudly members of those fan clubs of these 2 horses. Yeah, again, Dan, I mentioned about the morning line. I'm not sure how they're going to bet the race, but I do feel pretty confident that Field Glorious will be a fair price in this race. I do think she can go with these horses if she can get the right trip. I do respect Chad's horses. Obviously, the horse you have on top, I think, is the best of those 3, and I will use her, but I'm going to try and beat her with the 2.
I think Nay Lady Nay might have the most upside potential of the 3 Chad horses. I know she kicks hard, and I think she had a hidden trip last time out. I'll go with her. 6-5-7-2 for me, 2-4-6-7 for Mike. It's the Grade 3 Matchmaker. It kicks off a $400,000 guaranteed 50-cent pick 4, and it has an approximate post time of 4:06 Eastern. Good luck.